Well, hey, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all to the call on behalf of Lisa, Wendy, Judy, and myself. I want to tell you how much we all appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for joining us on these calls. You know, it's funny, I was laughing with Lisa, Judy, and Wendy earlier today as we were looking at the slides, and I had to crack up a little bit. When you look at just the three ladies alone, that probably represents, and forgive me, ladies, but probably 100+ years of Sunrider experience. So there's some incredible experience and backgrounds on the call tonight. This, just so everybody understands what we're doing, this is the first of a series of what we hope will be 5 calls that we'll be recording and sharing with all of you. We'll do our best to keep the calls to no more than around 30 minutes. And over the next few weeks, we'll actually try to encourage maybe a few special guest speakers to join us as well. Just so everybody knows, the goal of the call is certainly to bring value and to support you in building your Sunrider businesses by providing a safe place where we can all kind of share our knowledge and experiences about the Sunrider foods, how they impact the body, and how through sharing with others, we can generate sources of residual income. The calls will not be interactive, but as questions come up, please get with the person that shared the link with you, and I'm sure we can get things answered. Before we get started in the actual presentations tonight, I just need to do our normal Sunrider disclaimer, so please forgive me. None of the information provided in this presentation is represented or intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease, so now we've got that taken care of. And I guess before we really get started, for those of you that don't know who I am, like many of us, my Sunrider journey started probably 30 years ago with a sore shoulder and a wonderful lady named Rachel Jill who shared with me a bottle of Sunbreeze oil. That one kind act of a stranger ultimately changed my life. Since then, through developing relationships, identifying needs, working with our leaders, and sharing this opportunity of health and financial security, we've developed an international organization that remains one of the strongest in the Sunrider world today. So over the next 30 minutes, Lisa, Judy, Wendy, and I want to share with you why someone should consider this industry and why they should look specifically at Sunrider. And I've put a few things up here on the screen that I'm going to change the gallery view just so we can, hopefully everybody can see what's up on the screen there. But one of the things that's certainly specific to Sunrider in this industry is we are considered an essential business. We're producing all natural whole food products that support the entire body, including our immune and respiratory system, which of course in today's situation is so important to folks. This industry provides us an opportunity to work from home. And again, I don't want to belabor the point of viruses and COVID and all that kind of stuff, but I suspect all of us would agree that we are working more virtually from home these days. And again, one of the things I love about this business model is allows us to be our own boss. We work the hours that we want. And more importantly than anything else, we get to work with the people that we want to work with. The model also provides security of income simply through developing channels of residual income using the principles of duplication and leverage. Certainly this is a way, this particular business model in terms of joining a community and working with groups of like-minded people, sharing the concepts of health and wellness in this particular instance of Sunrider. There's no question, and this is something that I think becomes very, very obvious to each of us that we get involved in this business, is we do have to be responsible and take 100% responsibility for our own success. Actions do equal success. And you know, it's interesting, when we talk about beating the odds, one of the things that has always amazed me when you look at statistics, which are fun sometimes, is there are over 7.5 million Americans that have more than one job just to make ends meet. And there's kind of a cliche, but I think it makes sense. You know, there's only one dream per business. And I would ask each of us, I mean, whose dream are we working for? Now, when you look at other alternatives out there, certainly we can start our own small business like many people do. But it's interesting, again, on the average in the United States, it costs around $65,000 to start a small business. And the very unfortunate statistic is that approximately 50% of all small businesses fail within the first 5 years. So again, how do we beat the odds? We look at a business model like this, and there's a couple of quotes that I like to share with people. Most everyone has read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And there's 2 things he said in there that really kind of resonated with me. One is the first thing you should do to build your wealth is to start a part-time business. And secondly, he says, rich people look for and build networks. Everyone else just looks for work. The other thing I love is most people are familiar with Forbes magazine, and Forbes predicts that within the next 5 years, 79 million people will be starting their own home-based business. So that's a little bit about the industry. Let's talk about Sunrider specific for a minute. Sunrider's been around for over 38 years, creating an extremely stable environment for us to work in. They operate in over 50 countries around the world, which is one of the things personally that I love the most. I mean, I'm so blessed. I get a chance to travel around the world a couple times every year, working with people in different cultures that speak different languages, but all have that same common mindset that we talked about a second ago. Sunrider internally handles all of the research, development, and manufacturing. And why that's important is a lot of companies in this industry will simply give a third-party production company a recipe and say, make my product for us. Sunrider does not do that. Again, I'm going to repeat, they handle 100% of all the research, development, and manufacturing of over 400 of the world's finest whole food nutritional foods, cleansing beverages, weight management, sports and fitness, green household, and all natural cosmetics. And they do that right here on your screen at our 1 million square foot Los Angeles, California manufacturing facility. Now, I have personally always believed that our business is a product-driven business. And Lisa, if I can turn to you for just a second, I'm hoping that you can kind of help us better understand this whole philosophy of regeneration that we want to talk about and how that impacts everything that Sunrider does.
Of course, that's my favorite thing to talk about. Years ago, well, the way this all got started for me is that Julie Herring told Wendy Huff about Sunrider, and then Wendy Huff told Judy Densler, and then Judy Densler told Donna Horton, and then Donna Horton invited me to hear about Sunrider. And for quite a while, I didn't go hear it because I wasn't feeling good enough. And finally, I went to hear it, and what I heard that night has changed my life for the better, because I found what I call correct health principles. And whenever you have a principle that is in place, you can make better choices. And so that's what I look at today. And this picture up here is why Sunrider is so out of the ordinary. It's what I learned that night. And it's why I'm so grateful to these people for sharing with each other so that I could hear about it, because it did make such a difference. So the idea of regeneration is that whatever we put into our mouth as food either makes a deposit or a withdrawal into our energy systems. And so we have an opportunity here to put in good nutrition so that our bodies can work. And that's what we wanted to do. We want our bodies to do the work. The difference between regeneration and foods is that when you take medicine, medicine does the work for the body. We want our bodies ultimately to do the work for itself, and only when we absolutely have to, we can do medication. But if we can do something on a daily basis to keep us from the meds, to build up our immune systems and to work better, that's the best way to go. So that's regeneration. And the idea of, well, there's no chemicals and no isolates. And an isolate has to do with the fact that this company is a whole food product. And that was one of the major things that impressed me when I first heard the principles behind this company, because we learned in science in school that the whole is worth more than the sum of its parts. Our bodies are designed to absorb and use a whole food like the orange instead of the vitamin C. When you take a part out of a whole, you no longer have the wholeness, the synergy that the body needs in order to have good absorption and not have to work so hard to absorb it. But when you take an isolate like a vitamin, the body has to reconstruct it. It has to use energy and work hard in order to absorb that vitamin. So Sunrider Sunrider is based on a whole food philosophy, and that's why it's so outstanding. And I have to tell you, before I found Sunrider, I tried vitamins, and because one of my issues was around my stomach, vitamins exhausted me. My body had to work so hard to absorb them. It was not worth it to me. And I didn't understand that till I went that first night and heard this health principle. Next is variety. One of the things that Dr. Chen talked about when I first heard him speak that I thought was so important was that there's no one food that does the job, that our bodies are chemical factories, and we need the ingredients in order to make the chemicals. So when our body needs to make insulin, we have to have ingredients. And so we need a variety of nutrients. We talk about eating a sun-packed meal every day. And that sun-packed meal, which we'll talk about next week, it actually has over 100 different ingredients. That is, do you ever see 100 different ingredients at the market, and do you ever buy it? And is it full of nutrition? So next we have concentration. In order for us to get through today with today's stresses, today's energy expenditures, just the world that we live in, we have to have nutrients that support our body and help us with energy. But if we want to clean up the past, if we want to clean up the fact that we're breathing air and we have had degeneration in our body, we have to eat enough food in order to not just get us through today, but to help us to do the cleanup work. And that's the benefit, one of the best benefits of concentration. And Sunrider is highly concentrated. So it's a small package, but a great deal of nutrition. And then next, very quickly, is formulation. One of the things that Dr. Chen is an expert at is that he knows how to put these different products together to get more bang for your buck. He actually taught us that when you put certain things together, they can cancel each other out. But when you put other things together, you actually get more synergy, which makes each of the individual ingredients work better and best. So those are the reasons that I have stayed with Sunrider since March of 1988. And it's also the reason I believe in my heart that I'm going to be 70 next January, and that I am not on medication, and that I am healthier today than I ever was as a kid, that I had chronic bronchitis, I had stomach issues, I had female issues, and today I have more energy and more enthusiasm for life than I ever had when I was young. So it's been a miracle for me in my life. The product that we want to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about VitaSpray because it's considered one of our stress-related products. And VitaSpray, we usually call VitaSpray, can you see me? Because I'm holding up a VitaSpray. Can you see me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I can only see Judy and Wendy. Okay, so VitaSpray looks like this, and you give it 3 shots under the tongue so that it absorbs into the system because it has B12 in it and B vitamins. And we call it our B vitamin product, but it has so much more than that. It has B1, B5, B3, B6, stevia, vitamin B12, bromelain, potassium, magnesium, manganese, chromium, selenium, and neem tree extract. It's a phenomenal product. And I remember when Dr. Chen talked about our VitaSpray, he said, if you really understood what this product can do for our stress and for coping in the world we live in, he said every child would keep one in his pocket to use each day, every woman would keep it in her purse, and every man would keep it on him as well. That's how important this little, really inexpensive product is. And so everybody should really be using that. And during 9/11, I had a number of people call me and say, I am so stressed. I'm having a problem coping. And I said, do you have any VitaSpray? Oh yeah, I forgot I have that. I said, 3 shots under the tongue all day long. It's not going to get rid of the problems, but it will help you to get through them more easily. It'll help with your stress level. And I had people calling me back and being so appreciative how well that worked for them. So we want everybody to try Vita Spray and see if that isn't an absolute fact. So now we want to introduce Wendy so that she can tell us her experience with Sunrider.
Thank you. We're so glad that you're all here with us tonight. And I just want you to know that Sunrider has been very good to me. First and foremost with my health, because it's improved it so much and my outlook. It's helped me to develop strong, healthy feelings of self-esteem and self-worth and confidence. And it's given our family a steady stream of income that's maintained and increased over the years. It took a lot of stress off my husband Gary's shoulders, and it gave me the opportunity to raise our son working part-time from home. So these are very precious gifts. And I really love the friends that we've made, the 30 years we've been in this, involved with Sunrider, Judy and Lisa from the very beginning, and Mac, our big brother who watches over us, Julie, our mom, and many of you on the call. You're so dear to us. And haven't we had great fun, conventions? You know, early on, we didn't know that there was a business. We just shared Sunrider because we loved the products and the camaraderie. So when we started getting checks, we were shocked. It was like, oh, this is a profit deal. Who knew, right? And we really underplayed that because we didn't want anyone to question our motives because they were so pure. But we all built substantial businesses pretty much, I'd say, unconsciously during those years. And I wanted to share with you an interesting realization that came to me about 10 years ago when Gary was starting a new venture and we were looking for extra capital for the startup costs. So I had decided to take a job at a dog groomer / doggy camp, thinking that would be so fun because I love dogs and they sort of romanticized the whole idea for $9.50 an hour. But after a few months, the reality was very different from the dream. The culture in that shop was totally like a mean girl middle school experience all over again. And the bulk of my responsibility was patrolling the huge yard and picking up dog poop. So after a few months of being totally disrespected and throwing away many pairs of sneakers, I asked myself, what are you doing here? How much better would it have been to give attention to your Sunrider business? If I had added, say, 5 people, where would that have gone? At least those people would have liked me and appreciated my effort, and the money would have been much better. And so I recommitted to building again, focusing first on shopping or buying out of my own health food store. The fruit and veggie rinse, the stevia, the hand sanitizer, the laundry cleaners. Why would I buy from anyone else when we have the best? You know, I've heard it said that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And the truth is that I really love sharing Sunrider. I did it when there was no financial benefit, and I've done it since with a very generous compensation. But the thing that I have learned about money is that you can make it your servant. Now I see the bigger picture. With money, you can buy the foods, you can buy the quality skincare, you can buy any of the products. You can donate to your faith or your favorite charity. You can support your friends when they suffer loss or adversity. During this pandemic, I have found that being in that position is very empowering. There's something that you can do to help someone else. Sunrider is an essential business and it is doing great. You know, I wanted you all to know that the 4 of us have talked about this because we don't want to just be the upper echelon that makes the money while you all pay. We want to provide a forum for you to invite people to come and learn, just like Julie did for us all those many years ago. She did the meetings and we filled them. So Judy's going to tell you more about the plan for the next 4 weeks. So let me just say, during this time that we're at home, you can make yourself miserable or you can make yourself strong. It takes the same amount of work. And here's a little bit of inspiration from an excerpt of a poem by Helen Steiner Rice that I really like. The more you give, the more you get. The more you laugh, the less you fret. The more you live unselfishly, the more you live abundantly, for only what we give away enriches us from day to day. So if we just get out of our own way, many people can benefit. So let's hear what Judy has to tell us.
Thank you, Wendy. Well, timing is everything. So what does that really mean? My daughter Stephanie recently came across a quote that she sent me, and it said, "The best day to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today." Now, I love trees. So to me, this means that if you planted 20 years ago, you would have continued to enjoy many benefits throughout the years from your initial effort: fruit, shade, beauty. Because trees are of such lasting value, it is always the right time to start digging a hole. The same principle can be applied to consuming the highest quality of nutritional foods, or even to network marketing itself. If a person had begun consuming Sunrider foods 20 years ago, they would now be enjoying the higher quality of life that good nutrition brings and can provide. And if a person had begun creating a network of friends who did the same and shared the concept with others, then they would still be continuing to enjoy the fruits of their labor. So now is the right time to begin if you haven't. But why are sometimes even better than others? There are two basic factors involved. The first one is the surrounding circumstances. Everything just seems to come together at the right time. When I was first introduced to Sunrider over 30 years ago, I had a child that never lasted a whole day at school, and I was searching for answers. After trying so many different supplements, herbs, doctors, and diets, we finally found something that made a difference in how everyone in our whole family felt. I was so excited about it that I told all my friends, and very soon they were sharing it with their family and friends. Now, I had no idea of creating a business, just as Wendy said, but I was so grateful there was a built-in way for me to be able to afford these products, because I could tell very early on that these are products that I would want my family eating forever. We needed an extra income, but I could never get a job away from home because I never knew what time the nurse would call for me to come pick up our child. In time, I came to appreciate that one of the premier products that Sunrider offers is, in fact, the opportunity to create an income and become your own boss, so that a person could decide when and how much they chose to work. The second factor involving timing is the speed or velocity with which one begins. Success loves speed. It's only recently that I've really understood how important this is. Take, for example, a plane trip from Sky Harbor Airport in Phoenix to San Diego. You get aboard the plane, and the pilot announces that he is currently only working as a part-time pilot. So he's only going to go at a very slow speed down the runway. You and everyone else start to complain very loudly, so he accelerates just a little. Soon it becomes clear that he will never be able to take flight unless he increases his velocity enough to make it into the air and off the runway. The same concept proves true in network marketing. After learning this principle, I looked back and realized that the basic foundation of the business that I've had for all these years came from those whom I had first contacted. I've asked others to see if that has proven true with them, and so far, everyone has agreed. Not that it was done knowingly, but because of my excitement, I was driven to share it with my friends at an accelerated pace. Another factor that helped the speed of growth was mentioned by Wendy. We were able to take interested people to the meetings that Julie Herring held at her house. We could bring our friends to them, then they could start bringing their friends. This illustrates the power of duplication and how this is able to create exponential growth in a short period of time. When the three of us began in the late 80s, we didn't even have email. We talked to one person at a time, either by phone or in person, to teach them the value of the products and hope that we could somehow get them to a Sunrider meeting so that they could hear others' experiences. We would take our empty boxes to show them what to expect and hope they would get as excited as we were to help other people. Now, I don't want to sound like some parents that talk to their children about walking 5 miles to school in the snow, but it did take great effort to meet and train others in the past. My, how times have changed. Never have the circumstances so perfectly come together as they have in our current situation. It's as if the technology was building towards this very time in history. Large groups of people can be contacted all at once. We have gone from keeping in contact with a few close friends on occasion to being able to contact hundreds at one time through Facebook and other social media platforms. And the best yet is that no one has to get dressed up or to leave their house to get educated or to build a business, because we can all just Zoom together. So today is the best time in history to begin. All the circumstances have come together and are in your favor to be successful in improving your wellness with the healthiest and most convenient foods on the planet. Who do you know who wants to improve their health? Who do you know who needs more energy to accomplish all they need to do in the day? Who do you know who has children at home and is looking for healthy fast food? Who do you know who needs to replace lost income? Who do you know who needs just a little more income to provide the family with entertainment or perhaps a yearly vacation? Who do you know who loves to help others be successful? Please invite these people to join you and us on Zoom for the next 4 weeks for 30 minutes of product information and to share these products with others and how this would be done. This is our gift back to you in appreciation for your loyalty and in hopes to accelerate your healthy pursuits at just the right time. Trust me, you'll be surprised at the difference it makes if you commit. If you will take 4 short weeks and give it your full attention, hey, then you can coast down the other side of the hill for a while before the next group of meetings begins. So we're very excited about this. We hope you'll join us. Since we've committed, we're hearing from all sorts of people that we haven't heard from in years. So join us and we can all do this together. Thank you. And now I'll turn it back to Matt.
That's awesome, Judy. Thank you. You know, for anybody new on the call, and I know this is probably a veteran group on tonight's call, but I just wanted to quickly review that there's 3 options to join Sunrider. You can certainly join as a member or a retail customer and purchase the incredible Sunrider foods at their competitive retail pricing. You can join as a preferred customer and get a discount on your foods, as well as special promotions that Sunrider offers from month to month for our preferred customers. Or if you have any interest in sharing these foods or sharing this business opportunity with others, my suggestion is that you would roll as an independent business owner, because that opens up the entire compensation plan to you. And again, it's the best way in terms of sharing what we have to offer in terms of both the foods and the business opportunity. You know, I have to say, I love these kind of calls, especially working with you, Lisa, Wendy, and Judy, because you guys share so well. And one of the things that I like to kind of do at the end is just cover a key point that I heard from each of you, at least that resonated with me. And for Lisa, it was certainly a great explanation on the philosophy of regeneration. Loved the review of Vita Spray. And one of the things that's always set so well with me is what you were talking about initially, which is, what do we have, like 30 trillion cells in our body, and each of them are their own little electrical generator. And the fact that in a large part, we can control the health of our cells through what we put in our mouths, our diets, and everything we put in our mouths either makes that energy deposit, like you said, towards regeneration, or an energy withdrawal towards degeneration. Easy for me to say. So thank you so much for that. Wendy, you know, like you, I love the fact that we have this great Sunrider community of people that we can interact with. Some of my best friends have been those involved in my Sunrider networks over the years. I've got a wall full of memories over here with my kids, all of the Sunrider trips we've taken, the cruises around the world. Won't even go into the various places we visited, but it's been absolutely incredible, and I love that. And Wendy, again, the other bullet point I made for you was, if you do what you love, you will never have to work again. So just great stuff. Thank you. Judy, you know, action generates momentum. And I guess what I would say is, yeah, let's all go out there and plant that tree today if we haven't done so already. and let's move down that runway as fast as we possibly can. You know, again, before we kind of close the call down this week, we certainly respect everyone's busy schedules, and we wanted this first kind of kickoff call to be something live where everyone was joining us. But again, out of respect for your busy schedules, what we're going to be doing is on the future calls, we're going to record the calls, and we're going to then be sharing the link that we can send out to everyone, so you guys can, you know, watch these calls at your convenience. You can have an easy way to share the link, and get it out there to the people in your groups that want to hear about this information. And as we kind of teased you with a little bit before, what we're going to be talking about next week are our foundational foods, our NBCs, our Nourish, Balance, and Cleanse products, which we call our basics, if you will, and how to develop that momentum that Judy was just speaking about. So I guess with that, any last words from the panel, Lisa, Wendy, Judy?
I would just, yes. Like that if someone has a question they would like addressed, to email it to one of us so that we can handle it.
Cool.
I was just going to say, if it's to be, it's up to me. So that empowers me and invigorates me.
I would just like to thank everyone once again. And again, I'm so appreciative of those who tuned in, and I hope that this is something pleasing and that you can use, and please share it.
Absolutely. You know, same for me, you guys. I just want to thank everybody for taking 30 to 45 minutes tonight out of your very busy schedules to join us. Again, I think I'll speak for all of us, if I may, ladies. I know certainly for me, and I know for each of you too, one of the favorite things that we all like to do is to speak about the Sunrider products, sharing our testimonies and experience and some of the key ingredients and why they do the things that they do in our bodies. And I really look forward to this next 4 weeks where we can get in more in depth and kind of talk about some of these foods that we all know and love so much. So I guess with that, again, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you all over this next 4 weeks. So thanks everybody.
Bye.
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 Nice to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see here. How can I get back to
Hey, Sandra.